back and happy Wednesday. Okay, guys. So this is sort of because we have mom in town now, and also my aunt is coming into town. So we have a lot of stuff going on all at the same time. I wasn't able to get a full live recap for Vanderpump Rules out today, but instead I'm just going to recap it myself and post it for you guys because I don't want to miss it. And if you guys didn't watch it, I don't want you to miss it either. Jason's after party is one thing, Henny, but I'm here to mention it all. So before we jump in, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and let's go.
Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
Okay, guys, so if you didn't watch last night's Vanderpump Rules episode, well, I'm going to just sort of break it down for you guys in a tidbit so you get all of the most important little parts of it. So we have James Kennedy, who is throwing a pool warming party, which is actually a really great idea. And I mean, I love his house with Allie, but that's not really the one thing that shocked me right out of the gate for this episode. It was the fact that Ariana and Katie were talking the night after they ended up leaving this event that they went to for See You Next Tuesday. The Lyft driver was like, I think I remember you dropping you off at this house before. You were with your husband, right? And you guys were fighting. The same Lyft driver that was there for the night of Scandival. Now, I even said this to Jason on the after party. I don't know if that was something that they just wanted to add in there as like a fun little tidbit, or if that was a real situation, because I mentioned this. I've had two of the same Uber Lyft drivers twice in Los Angeles, and I was like, oh my God, how the does this happen? But it did. Now, from that point, Lala and Sheena end up going over to Lisa Vanderpump's house because Lisa Vanderpump had her talk with Tom Sandoval at Pump Restaurant. When she did, he ended up opening up about the fact that he's having really dark thoughts, which is not something that you want to play with anybody, because I feel like what most people find is when they do challenge somebody who's claiming to have dark thoughts, you find it to be a little bit too late before you can actually have sat there and listened to them. So I think it's 100% something that you don't want to play with, and you don't want to not believe somebody when they're sharing things like this. And I think that this was the point of Lisa inviting over Lala and Sheena, because she sat them down and she said, listen, I think you guys need to go a little bit easier. And Sheena was like, he called Lala a narcissist. And Lala said, well, he triggers me. He's like Randall, and it triggers me. He's like my ex. And she was like, I get it. I get it from you. I get it from you. But I think that you guys need to understand, as somebody who lost a brother, you guys need to take it back a little bit, reel it in, and maybe exercise some compassion and understanding. Well, from there, Sheena said to Lisa Vanderpump, she was like, wait a minute. Ariana has made it clear that if we are friends at all with Tom Sandoval, that there's no place for us in her life. And Lisa said, don't be a follower. Okay. I mean, that's a little bit wild. So back to the pool warming party, we find out that James Kennedy has been sober for a little over 3 months. And I think that this is a good thing. I'm excited to see sober James, but at the pool warming party, we get a few conversations, especially this one with Lala Kent and Tom Schwartz. So when they start talking, Tom was pretty much telling Lala that he feels like, right now in a rock and a hard place with this whole Sandoval thing. And this is his friend that he doesn't want to give up on. She's saying, I get it. I think that you handled yourself really well at See You Next Tuesday. And I am so sick of fighting everybody else's battles. And right now, I feel like I am trying to understand a little bit more. I'm trying to exercise empathy. And I'm also constantly comparing Sandoval to Randall. And I just can't do this anymore. So she said that she needs to pretty much chill on being aggressive. Now, that wasn't the only person she talked to at this party, too. She also talked to Allie, and she asked Allie about James' sobriety. And Allie said it wasn't her story to share, which I really, really respect that. Now, Jason was asking me, do you think that this has something like to do with Lala maybe being spoken to by Tamra and Teddy after the MTV Movie Awards? And that's why she's asking about this because she knows something that we don't. And she's planting the seed for the storyline, which is actually a great conspiracy theory. And I don't know if he's right or not, but it could make sense based off of the timeline. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it could make sense. Anyways, now let's go over really quick because we go to intimacy, which is kind of pronounced like intimacy. Billy Lee and Tom Sandoval go for a cold plunge. This scene was awkward AF, awkward as so he's like getting in the cold plunge and he's like, ah. Freezing, right? And Billy Lee is like, yes. Is it cold? Yes. It's cold. This was some cringe ass shit that I've never even seen this on Vanderpump Rules. I was less comfortable, less uncomfortable. I was more comfortable. Shit, I was more comfortable when Stassi talked about wrapping the bat in acid and barbed wire. This was cringy as hell. This is the epitome of having somebody around you that is toxic in the sense that and it's not just Billy Lee. This is not a Billy Lee smear campaign. I'm saying you're surrounding yourself with your bandmates and I get that you need people around, but people who are just crawling up your ass saying, "Yes, you're amazing. Yes, you're this. Yes, you're the best. Yes, Tom. Yes, 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 yes." No. That is not what you need. That's not what anybody needs. Nobody needs that. Anybody who has like a real friend knows my friends, and I can count them on one hand, and that's okay. I'm at that point in my life where I would rather have that many friends and have good ones, real ones. They'll tell me, Adam, you're being an asshole. Adam, you sound like an idiot. Adam, wear that out, and I'm going to pop you in the back of the head. Like that, not like, yes, with the lightning bolt, iconic. It just sounds like a little dumb to me. But okay. I mean, I think Ariana agrees. Anyways, Tom explains that he won't date, but he does miss Raquel and he loved her. But also, Sheena ends up explaining to Ariana in the pool what Lisa Vanderpump said about her brother. But Ariana thinks it's different and she still finds it to be manipulation. Now, then Lala ends up inviting James over to talk about his sober journey. And he says that he wants to have a legit, you know, sobriety journey where it's going to be for the rest of his life. He's not doing it for Raquel like he did last time. This time he wants to do it for himself. And that's honestly what he wants. We're going to see. I mean, Lala's done it, so I think James can do it. Shorts and Sandoval end up meeting up at Shorts' house. And this is where we get to see Joe for the first time actually talking. And she's cutting his hair. And he explains that they did have a situationship. They had a little relationship. She was never really his roommate, but they were hooking up. And it's just awkward as hell. But we've heard a lot about Tori, and I'm excited to see more of her on the show. Or Tori, Joe. Speaking of Tori, Tori is Courtney, Sheena's sister's best friend. Sheena also has known her for a long time. And Sheena invites Tori to come over to watch Baby Summer Moon. When she did, it was because her and Brock were going to meet up with James and Allie and talk about the Lake Tahoe trip. And Allie had a good point. She said, I'm kind of nervous for all of the bullshit that's about to, transpire on this trip because I personally feel like I'm going to be put in between a rock and a hard place where I'm going to feel bad for Tom. And I don't want to feel bad for Tom because I want to be a good friend to Ariana. This just gets more awkward. But at the end of it, and I don't know if you guys saw this, the way that we end off is something that is probably one of my favorite endings. It's with Lisa Vanderpump calling James Kennedy to Vanderpump Dogs, and he was so sure that it was over Tom Sandoval, which really, to his surprise, had nothing to do with Tom Sandoval. And I know that Sheena was like, yeah, Lisa's probably going to talk to you and tell you to chill out, whatever the case is. when he saw Graham run down the stairs, and I heard what Rachel said on her podcast. I heard that Rachel said that James was very abusive to the dog. I think Jason made great points last night on Vanderpump Rules after party. We have a dog that was so heavily abused, and we got him at a year to a year and a half. And still to this day, if you pick up something fast around him, whatever, he like freaks out. It took him a year before he would lay in bed with us, and like he just like loved for us to like give him attention. It took a while. We had to gain and earn his trust. But even still, he's like still a little scared, you know? That dog, the way that it ran up to James, didn't give that he abused me vibe. Unless it's editing and I miss something, I'm just calling out the flaws in this story. But I want to hear what you guys think. So pop off in the comment section. Before you go, don't forget that we are giving away a free Rose Forever. So all you have to do is go to anywhere you get your podcast, type in Up and Adam, scroll down, drop a rating, and let us know what you thought about this week's episode. Rate it 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. I love you guys, and we'll see you next time.